Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. They're such incredible, massive hypocrites. You know, forever we've been pointing out the Democrat messaging campaign as being fundamentally unserious. And you know, I think they had ample warning over the years that eventually it would all backfire, this performative, theatrical, hyperbolic nonsense, which clearly only plays to a very specific demographic of big city suburban moms and older low-information voters who've got their eyes glued to MSNBC. It's been obvious for a while that the Democrats have been pushing nonsense, exaggeration. They just run with whatever extreme talking point will get them the most attention. Whatever's the most extreme thing that they could label and accuse Donald Trump of, they run with it, but eventually, reality starts to catch up, right? And when the hysteria wears off, their words come back to haunt them, and that's exactly what's happening right now. All the fear-mongering over the last years, screaming that Donald Trump is a fascist threat to democracy. Well, it's all crumbling, because now as Donald Trump is maintaining steady approval in the polls, and as the working class is backing his economic agenda, well, Democrats in certain working class states, in this case in Michigan, are now looking like complete and utter fools as they're now being forced to align themselves with the Trump agenda. This is what I mean by it's backfiring. Democrats go from Donald Trump's agenda is a threat to democracy to now Donald Trump's agenda will usher in the golden age of America. You cannot make this stuff up. Gretchen Whitmer is now aligning herself with the president, which of course objectively is a good thing, but boy does it discredit the Democrat messaging at large over the last almost 9 years. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so exactly like I've said, they've been calling Trump a fascist for Lord knows how long, a threat to democracy, and that's especially true for Governor Whitmer, and not just Whitmer because it's really a trio, these three characters.
Donald Trump doesn't seem to really give a damn about what the courts say anyway. Trump and his lawless, corrupt, and chaotic administration can ignore court orders, but they cannot ignore all of us.
Donald Trump and his administration keep violating the law.
You have two of the most opportunist individuals ever to enter public service. Walking away from Donald Trump, walking away from some of his more hostile rhetoric.
When former President Trump, Speaker Johnson, and others call for bans around voting things that are already banned, they aren't actually trying to support election integrity. They're promoting election malfeasance.
It would be akin to putting arsonists in charge of the fire department. I mean, these are people who don't believe in democracy.
Donald Trump keeps talking smack about Detroit and insulting our union auto workers. As president, he failed us horribly. A failed businessman who's repeatedly sold out American workers and only looks out for his billionaire buddies. He's just deranged. Our head of state has spent the past 7 months denying science, ignoring his own health experts, stoking distrust, fomenting anger, and giving comfort to those who spread fear and hatred. Just last week, the President of the United States stood before the American people and refused to condemn white supremacists. Keep Detroit out of your mouth, Donald Trump.
I mean, it's been non-stop demonization of Donald Trump like he's the second coming of Mussolini. They attempted every single scare tactic that you could possibly imagine. And actually, that's got me thinking, remember the FBI hoax, the supposed kidnapping plot against Governor Whitmer that Donald Trump was at the core of, or that he had incited through his inflammatory rhetoric? Yeah, pretty much non-stop hyperbolic left-wing nonsense. And now, fast forward today, Gretchen Whitmer said this.
I understand the motivation behind the tariffs. And I can tell you, here's where President Trump and I do agree. We do need to make more stuff in America. More cars and chips. More steel and ships. We do need fair trade.
She's now aligning herself with the Trump agenda, at least on the issue of tariffs and bringing jobs back to Michigan. And she even used one of his campaign slogans, referring to ushering in the golden age of America, and even recently showed up at the White House, where she is totally cozying up, kissing the ring, and smiling for the camera, as if none of it ever happened.
Has this gotten into any of the other lakes yet? Because you would think it would be pretty easy because they're all sort of connected. Governor?
It's why we're working so hard to make sure that, we work with the Army Corps and erect a barrier so that the Asian carp can't get into Lake Michigan. It'll devastate the ecosystem, the economy, tourism, and it's 20% of the world's fresh waters in the Great Lakes, Mr. President, which is why it's so important that as a nation we protect the pristine waters. Yep.
Yeah, it's clear now she needs him. Now her political survival depends on Donald Trump's agenda. How absolutely surreal is that? Well, I say it's surreal, but to be honest, it's not surprising in the least. Donald Trump won the state of Michigan. Clearly, he's holding all the cards in the Rust Belt, especially in the state of Michigan that's been devastated by offshoring American industry. I mean, Detroit is really a sad place. It's honestly probably one of the most depressing places I've visited in the Western world. I spent some time driving around there when I visited for the auto show a couple years back. I purposely drove through 7 and 8 Mile, and it's almost unlike anything I've ever seen in the Western world, in the developed world. It's unironically like a third world country in some places. Once the heart of America's manufacturing engine, now outside of a couple well-to-do suburbs, it's abject poverty, boarded up homes. I mean, you genuinely get a feeling of hopelessness. And you know, Democrats used to speak to these people, right? The working class in these states was their bread and butter, and they've had decades to fix it. They used to speak directly to the working class, to the people who have been economically disenfranchised, but it's obvious they've completely betrayed those people for the interest of the coastal elite. I mean, just take a look at this map right over here that shows Donald Trump's approval rating by state. Pretty much all the working class states, even the left-leaning battlegrounds, are shifting towards Trump. The Democrats have lost these people. Trump changed the game, pure and simple. He flipped the script on China, and he's now pressuring companies to bring jobs back home. In other words, he's fighting for the steel workers, the auto workers, the welders, the people who actually build things.
I want you to take a look. Cares more about the needs for people like you. You mentioned it, Kate Baldwin. We got a tie, even after this tariff war had already started, split between Democrats and Republicans on how people feel which party cares more for needs of people like you. And why is that so surprising? Because I want you to take a look at prior years. Democrats always lead on this question. All of a sudden, the Democrats, who are the party of the people, no more. We get a tie on this question, on a question that has traditionally overwhelmingly been a Democratic advantage. Which party cares more for the needs of people like you? It's truly something I would not have expected to see, especially after this tariff war had begun.
Where does it show that Republicans are making the most gains?
Talk about party of the people. Look at this. Cares for the needs of people like yourself. Look here. We got non-college. We got those with a college degree. Among those with a college degree, it's the same score. But look among non-college voters. Look here. It was +7 for Democrats in 2017, and now Republicans had overwhelmingly gained. +9 points. That is, the gains have been concentrated, at least within the last decade, among voters without a college degree, the working class.
And now he's got these Democrats in a position where they have to align themselves with his vision. You can't make this stuff up. And frankly, I don't know if it's going to work for them, because you just end up looking like an absolute fraud. It's basically the exact same energy we saw from the Al Smith dinner just last year. Remember that during the 2024 election? Trump was a threat to democracy. Oh, a real threat to democracy. He's the next coming of Hitler. But I guess he wasn't enough of a threat to party with him at their swanky gala, surrounded by celebrities and all the high rollers. So which one is it? Is he a danger to the Republic? Or is he the only politician in our lifetime that's actually fighting for the working class? Because the reality is, it can't be both. Well, I'll tell you, something's being revealed, and that's the truth. And the truth is that they're liars. They lied. They exaggerated. They manipulated. They ran out of control, hyperbolic propaganda campaigns for years. And now they're being exposed as total frauds. Their whole threat to democracy narrative was never real. It was political theater. It was typical divide and conquer fear-mongering propaganda. And now we got these politicians attempting to flip sides, hoping that nobody's gonna notice. But trust me, we notice. What an absolutely humiliating affair for Gretchen Whitmer. And honestly, again, I'm not sure the political calculus is gonna add up in her favor. I don't think working class people are gonna buy it. I think that ship has genuinely sailed. And of course, we know the radical left is gonna eat her alive for it. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.